Well, okay. Well, okay, so we'll just roll anyway.
With the tactics. We do have some tactics.
Yeah.
So
we
we
can
are
make it
back.
interesting.
We can make it. We will have some tactics in the game. So if we don't have it right this time, it's not. I think I'm not sure what Castoni was supposed, what tactics he was going to show today, but we will have some.
Yeah.
So let me just see. Yes, yes, and now we have our title. Hey, we are back.
Is the right title?
Yes.
Yes, that's great. Then we don't have to make it something it's not.
So great. Yes, is it G5? Nobody's watching. Yes, everybody will be watching in a moment, but we've had some problems. So now I think everything is working fine. So it's black to play here, and it's G5. We were looking at G5, but guys, if you could give us some more details. Sophie, what do you think? What do we do after G5?
I think I got another minute to look at the position, and I think it is G5. I think it's G5, and then after white moves the bishop to G3, then B3, right? Again, like we're threatening a piece, and no matter what white captures with, we will take on E4 with the knight. So then there's no longer the pin on the queen on D8, and once we take on E4 with the knight, we're also threatening the bishop on G3, and the bishop doesn't really have any moves. And if white captures the knight on E4, then I think oh, maybe I'm missing something, because D6 is hanging after if he captures the knight back.
Yeah.
Oh wait, can we just take on? No, we can't. We can play G5 and then we can take on D5.
Yes, of course.
Yes. Okay. Good. Finally.
So we can play G5 and then we can take on D5. That's the idea in this position.
Yeah.
But I just need to make the moves. And Sophie, let me know if you see the moves.
I see the G5. Yes.
Okay. Hello, more people joining. Great. So we'll have some more help in a few moments.
That's good.
Now we're not going to see a tile game today. But wasn't that the game we saw? Didn't we start with Gurgenidze tile last week? The sacrifice on F2?
Yeah, I think that was a tile. Wasn't that the tile?
That was tile.
Sounds like a tile.
Yes. Let me just...
Yes.
That was the one. I'm pretty sure that was the one. If you guys have seen the last weeks.
I think you can pronounce the names better than I can.
Gurgenidze. Yeah, that was the game we saw last week. We actually started with it, and we saw the sacrifice on F2. But, okay, knight D5, there were more here. There's more here, not just... we can still take on D6, no? This is not over so soon, but what are we doing here?
We are... What are we doing? Let me see.
Does anybody have any suggestions here while Sophie is also thinking?
Somebody's suggesting Queen F6.
Yes, and I was waiting for a suggestion from you as well before giving you.
Yeah.
So I thought let me see what Sophie thinks about it.
I looked briefly at Queen F6. I'm just trying to understand it completely, because I mean it's threatening the bishop, of course, but if the bishop moves back, I'm just trying to see what the
Or if I
magic
take on
movement.
c5, you guys need to see
If you take on
what
c5,
happens. And I think
yeah.
if you see that, you will find something better than queen f6. Knight to f4, someone is suggesting. Better AI. Knight to f4 is an interesting suggestion after bishop takes d6. And that is also the best move in this position. Queen f6 is interesting.
Knight f4?
Yes. The idea is that, okay, if queen f6, I'm just going to show this first. Bishop c5.
Yeah.
Now we do have knight f4 again. And we are going to have some great attack here. We can take on c5, and we have pressure. We've seen how everything can happen quickly on the king side. Bishop b7 maybe, yeah. But here after queen f6, white doesn't have to take, and knight c4 can be played. And I think this is starting to look fine for white. I defend my bishop here on e2, and I defend, okay, b2 in case I want to move my knight away.
Yeah.
So knight c4 looks like a good...
And maybe white can then go for e5 at some point.
Probably, yeah. We'll need to see how that goes. So here we could go for knight f4 immediately. This is very strong. We attack the bishop. Sophie, let me know if you still see the board. Knight f4.
Yeah, I see the knight on f4.
Okay, and now we are attacking the bishop. So suppose they go bishop f3, right?
Yeah.
What can we do now after bishop to f3? What's our next step?
Sounds like it's something concrete.
I don't know. Does it?
Yeah, maybe. I don't know. Like, I mean, a move like maybe bishop b7 to put something on that diagonal and make e4 a little bit weak, but it doesn't seem like the fastest move to play.
95, the same better AI is suggesting. 95 looks good, huh? And Sinan, 95.
Knight a5?
E5, sorry.
E5, oh, okay. Yeah, knight e5 I also thought about.
But we need to see what
then
happens
we will get the bishop pair if he captures.
If he captures. But what if he captures on c5?
Then I think, don't we still get the bishop pair? I mean, just taking the bishop on f3? I don't know. Maybe it's not the best follow-up. Or maybe we can just play queen c7 then. Is that winning the bishop?
Knight e5, knight takes, bishop takes c5, and queen c7 in this position.
Yeah.
Is it winning the bishop? I think I can defend, right?
I think you can defend, but how? Well, I mean, what is the best way to do? If I play queen c7,
but you are not threatening to take my bishop for now, so maybe if I play knight e3 to defend the queen.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah. Oh, wait a minute. G4. No?
Here, g4.
No, not right now. But if I play knight e5, and then he captures on c5.
Yeah.
Then can I play g4 now?
g4 looks like a good move, no?
Yeah.
Okay. This is, I have bishop e3, but I think my bishop is not coming out of f3, right? Yeah. g4 is also winning here. g4, I was thinking that I could try this, maybe kick your knight out, but you don't have to go, right? Do you see the position?
Yeah, I see the position.
Okay. Here you could just play knight d3, right? And defend the knight. And g4 is still defended by the bishop.
Yeah.
So g4 is working. Yes, you are right, Sophie. The move I had seen here was b3. And this is also quite fun to see. The point being that the queen on d2 defends the knight, right? So
yeah,
queen b3 doesn't work.
So
And
then he would take with the knight, and then the
yeah,
bishop on f3 is not, yeah.
And then we take queen d7, and we want to play queen h3 next.
Yeah.
And mate him. And
Yeah.
g4 is good enough, I think. Winning on the spot as well. You just win a piece. So we have some questions here. What happened here? Hold on, I was not paying attention. Rook takes e2. Okay, in the initial position, when you wanted to play bishop e6, when you wanted to play bishop a6 to exchange for bishop e2, if knight takes e5, knight takes e5, how is that? Knight e5? Knight e4. Knight e4. To sacrifice the queen, that's a lot. And then knight takes d2. And there's some rook takes e2 ideas. But you still don't have bishop a6, so you'd need the move a5 first, right? You need to get that move in to have all these ideas. And I think knight e4, I simply takes. Yeah, I can take. And you're not in time for rook e2. I think it's too much. It's just too much for the queen. We're not getting enough material.
The queen.
We're going to keep the queen, yes. Okay, so this was the idea to show. The bishop on e2 many times in the Benoni is hanging, and this is one line where it's a problem. So g5 and knight takes d5 here, and here remember the idea with knight f4, and knight e5 is very strong. Hold on, because there was something more than knight e5 in this position, if I remember right. We had another strong move here, and that was knight e6. Yes, that's kind of more positional, but knight e6 is also very strong because we want the knight on d4.
Ah, yeah. Regrouping,
yes. This is something we we have been looking a lot at, so yes. Knight e6 and knight d4 is very strong. But knight e5, as the chat is saying, is just begging to be played. So
yeah, I think so.
Okay, so we are ready to move to our next one. I was going to show you another idea here, and I will just have to go to the beginning here. Another very nice idea that you can find in this position. So, okay, let me just ask you here, what would you guys play with black? a6, rook b8, planning g5. Okay, typical, but there are more typical ideas here that work even better here. Sophie, what's your take on this position?
I was first looking at the, and there's something about the E file.
Mm-hmm.
I'm looking at playing f5, but I wanna. You say good?
Yes.
I thought I was being a little bit too cautious before, so now I'm trying to be a little bit more aggressive. But f5.
And we also have a suggestion in the chat.
Yeah. I have suggestion in the chat.
With f5, yes.
F5, G5.
G5 could be played, it's quite typical, but I think with the knight on e3 you are giving me the square f5. Not sure if you really want to do that right now, if I have the knight on e3.
Yeah.
G5 is an idea, but
maybe later.
In kind of different positions, maybe.
On take.
So let's see f5.
Yeah,
They have to take
with
yeah.
the pawn, yeah?
They have to take on f5, that's true. And these
Yeah.
positions, I think we have seen something like this, right? If not, we are going to see something very similar in the next games that we are going to see. Just g takes f5 and you want to play on the g file, have your attack ready there. So the real question after f5, something you need to always calculate, is f4, of course. What happens after f4?
I did not calculate this.
I know, but you are still
okay,
still
so
fine.
the knight is under attack, so we should either move it or threaten something ourselves. If we move it, we only have a few squares to put it. I don't like g4, it's losing a pawn. If I put it on
yes, partial.
f7, it's...
Yeah, but what are you going to go? No, d7 is the other...
Yeah, f7 or d7, I think I have to put it. There I'm not blocking the bishop, at least.
Yeah.
Now I'm threatening to take on e4.
Yeah, so I'm going to take on f5. So what are you guys going to do next? Black does not resign after f4, Sinan. We are actually about to get a winning position.
Let's see. Yeah, it's complicated. Someone's writing it's complicated. Yeah, Nicholas, it's very complicated. Knight f7. Yeah, we got it so far. What
yes,
now?
Yes, Bob, that's right.
Yeah, taking on e3. Somebody suggesting taking on e3. I looked at that, but can we take on e3 and then play bishop d4?
But I'm taking with the bishop.
Maybe an exchange, but
no, I'm taking with the bishop.
No, it's bishop, of course. It's not working. Can we take back on f5? Just is that too simple?
Too simple, yeah.
Too simple. Okay.
Yes, everybody.
Oh, people have it in the chat?
Yes. Do you want to take a look?
Yeah, I kind of want to take
I think you're going to cheat on this one. Bishop d4, yes. Bishop d4 right away. Well, if you saw the idea of rook e3, so I know you like sacrificing, but here it's just, let's just go with the pawns.
Yeah, this is better.
So bishop d4, the question is, what if we take on g6?
We take back?
Or do we have any other moves?
We can take an e3, that's a check. Then he takes back with the bishop, and then it's just an exchange. And if I take the bishop, he will take an f7, and it's a check, and then I'm down no, I'm not down a piece, but it's just an exchange, and I think my king will be pretty open at that point. Maybe.
Do you really want to give up the bishop?
No.
No,
only if I win something in exchange.
So h6 can be played, but you have something much better, so that's why I'm asking for options here.
Maybe taking with the rook on e3, then we have a discovered check. We will threaten to play rook d3.
Okay, but what's white's threat? Like right
take
away?
An f7.
With check.
Yeah, with check.
Too bad.
So...
Okay, Bob has it already.
Bob has it. I'm just going to cheat now. I'm just going to look. What is Bob saying?
Harshal also has it.
h6.
Knight h6.
Knight h6. Just moving the knight and then still have the threat.
Yes, but you have an extra threat now. You want to play knight to f5.
Yeah.
You want to win
Yeah,
the
it's
knight
gonna
on
hold
e3.
Yeah.
So here they go pawn takes h7. This was a game. Very strong players also with both colors, so it can happen to anyone.
I feel like there's not a whole lot of pawns left on my king side.
What do we do now after pawn takes h7? What's your thought here?
Isn't the safest approach to put the king in the corner?
Yes, king h8.
Yeah.
Just to have the king safe. Now we can look at the other moves, but the problem is that white will always have some checks, or they will be able to pin our knight at some point. For example, if we go king takes, rook f3, knight f5, then there are these ideas with queen d3. I defend the knight, and what I want to do with white are these checks. There are problems with the square h7, so whenever you take on e3, I'm going to have this rook h7 or queen h7 to annoy you.
Yeah.
So this is going to happen. It's pretty much similar. They transpose whether king h7 or king g7, but just so you guys know what the problems are. The king is more exposed. So king h8, a typical way to defend when they take one of your pawns on the 7th rank. And here white has only one move to keep the game going, in the sense that they will get compensation. Bishop h5 is the move.
Okay. I was looking at g4.
But then you take on e3, because your immediate threat here is to win the knight.
That's true.
But bishop h5, because there's some counterplay, queen d2, we still need to get the pieces out. Rook e7, and maybe rook e1. And as you were saying, Sophie, there aren't many pawns left, so white is also trying to play for that. But you still need some time to get your pieces out with white. It's going to be difficult. With black, sorry,
Yeah.
It's going to be difficult, I think, for white as well, and for black as well. So it's going to be a complicated position, but at least we are a piece up. Yeah, bishop f5 probably can be played here. But in the game, white went for king h1. So remember that here white has only one move, and if they don't know it, it's very difficult to find this kind of moves over the board. And we just take on e3, yeah?
Yeah.
And here, this was the game, and now queen h4. Already going for attacks. I want to play knight g4 next.
Yeah, if he takes on
e8. No, knight g4, I want to mate on h2.
Yeah.
And black convincingly won this game. Options instead of king h1, rook f3 looks like a defense.
But then knight f5?
Knight g4 is even better. Knight f5.
Okay. So that the king can't go to f2.
Yes, but we also want to keep the square f5 for the bishop. We might want to play bishop f5. Because if knight f5, maybe queen d3 again, right? And try to defend the way we were trying to earlier. But if we go knight g4, here's the difference, queen d3, now I have this very nice move. Queen f6, and we want to play bishop f5.
Yeah.
So, but I have a question for you. What happens if king h1? I'm just getting out of the pin.
Can we take on e3 with the bishop and then
bishop
put the
takes?
queen on h4?
No, but I take with my bishop. Bishop takes, bishop takes.
Yeah, and then queen h4.
Do I have bishop g1 in that position? Or rook h3? Maybe rook h3.
I don't think we have rook. Oh yeah, okay. Now you move the bishop so that the first rank is not open.
Okay, Cool Kid has some suggestions. He doesn't have the move, but he saw the tactical ideas on f2.
We have some things about playing queen h4 right away. Was a good thing. Or not, playing
something on f2, right?
Taking on h2.
Wow, you guys are so tactical, and this is so simple.
Yeah. Okay.
It's too simple, I think.
Okay, so it's simple. It's simple. Okay, let's see. It's simple. Then we will. Can we then taking the knight and play bishop f5 maybe?
Ariane, that's correct.
Someone in the chat has it?
Yes, there's a trick with knight f2.
E3.
Yes,
okay,
Nicolas.
Taking on
That's
e3
right.
rook. Of course.
Too easy, yeah? Sorry.
Yeah.
I got you used with more difficult tactics.
Yeah, the knight's so tricky.
And knight f2. Yes. I think this is the simplest. I don't know. Queen h4. Maybe queen h4 also works in this position. Maybe because I don't have rook h3. Right?
Yeah.
That's your point. I don't have rook h3 because knight f2 is again coming. Everything is hanging. And on h3 you guys still want to play knight f2, right? Yeah, probably queen h4 is also winning.
Yeah, queen e1 first.
Queen e1. And
yeah.
On rook.
And then
and then knight f2.
f2. Yeah.
Maybe. Probably that's that way as well.
Yeah.
You win more material. Yeah. Okay, so this was the idea that I wanted to show you. And hold on, this idea with knight h6, right? Remember that if you have this, you shouldn't be worried about f4 when you play f5. Knight h6, but remember this idea because there's a problem with the knight on e3 in these positions.
Yeah.
So now let's go finally to the games that I wanted to the game that I wanted to show you today, the great game in the Benoni by Sahis. We have one today. Is that okay? Yes, I thought for a moment that our board has gone crazy, but I see it. Okay, so let's see it from the beginning, just quickly breezing through the opening phase. These are kind of typical for now. G6 and E4. Last week we saw with G3, right? We saw the fianchetto. And so let's see the classical one today. We're just going to switch between them. So bishop G5 is what white plays here. And H6. Okay, bishop H4. And here there are some subtleties that you guys need to know. Because one idea that black wants to play is G5. Okay? Bishop G3. And it looks like after knight H5, we've gotten this dark square bishop, and then our dark square bishop will be super strong, and we will have domination on the dark squares. But it's not really like that here, because in this position, white has this move, bishop b5, and it's quite annoying after bishop b5.
Yeah.
Basically, we cannot put anything in front because d6 will be hanging. So we cannot cover. We have to play king f8. And here, white has e5 already. Sacrificing this pawn because we can take on g3. But here comes the more unnatural move that white doesn't have to take with the h-pawn the way we normally take, taking towards the center. But here, because the king is on f8, he takes away from the center to open the f file.
Yeah.
And there will be some problems with the king on f8.
Yeah.
So this is not so great here.
No.
So this is the problem with g5 and knight h5, basically. Someone was asking about knight takes g5 here. The problem with knight g5 is that when I take back, with the h-pawn, I'm defending my knight on h5. So no, knight takes g5 does not work here in this position. So now let's go back to the game, because if you see this, you guys will understand the next move. It's a very deep prophylactic move. a6.
Yeah. Makes
So
sense.
we are preparing g5 and knight h5, right? Now if a4, for example, but okay, h6 also prepares b5, right? This is one of our main plans. So here we want two things: g5, knight h5, or b5. White cannot stop both of them. He can try to stop either b5, like this, and then we do get g5 and knight h5, and this is supposed to be fine for black. Very good for black, actually, once we take that bishop. And then he could prevent the idea of knight h5 with knight d2. We do have g5, but we don't have knight h5 anymore. This is the thing. So, but what do we play here?
Then we play b5?
Yeah.
Or we castle, one of those.
No, b5 is more precise.
So he doesn't play a4.
Correct, yes. So we don't waste this opportunity. Now bishop e2, and here you just get the pieces out. Knight e7, he played castles, castles. And in this position, Michalewski played the move a4. And the move a4 is not supposed to be so good in this position. We will see what happens. Queen c2 is one of the best moves for white in this position. Okay, what would you guys play here? Let's see how you handle the Benoni.
Can we just... No.
Okay, we have bishop b7 as a suggestion. What else?
Rook e8 also looks natural.
Rook
or
e8,
maybe just push the pawns on the queen side, like playing either... Maybe play c4 and get the knight to c5 to put more pressure on e4.
That's also one of the ideas, but it's rook e8.
b4 is the other pawn.
b4 looks good, but then I think the thing about b4 here is that knight a4 is possible.
Knight
if you play b4, knight a4, and I kind of want to stop you and install my knights on these two squares, or only with c4. Yes, b4 gives white the c4 square, and right now he will be able to use it. But rook e8, no, the move that you were suggesting, Sophie, looks natural and makes a lot of sense. Just develop our pieces, and we know that e4 is one of the targets for black all the time. So why not just make sure that that pawn is well under attack. Now, what are we waiting for? We are actually waiting for a4 from white. And this is when
now we can play maybe e4, and the knight can't go there, so it has to go backwards.
Let's say knight d1, and you guys already know this.
Yeah, is this from? Is this from the warm-up position? Yes.
Yes.
We can play g5 and take on b5.
That's right. Knight d5. Let's just go through these lines again for everybody who's joined late. Bishop d6 we saw here, and knight f4. Attacking the bishop on e2. Oh, I remember now there was a question I think I didn't answer. I forgot about that. I saw it, but you were analyzing knight e5. And there was someone asking about bishop f4. Of course, it's possible, but we're just going to take back. And we have removed this powerful bishop that white had. And then the attack is coming, right? Bishop d4, queen g5. Knight e5, I think this is crazy here. White is under a lot of pressure. Maybe it's better than bishop f3 when we saw that knight e5 is strong. Maybe it's a better solution in this position, but it's still very bad for white. So, here there are problems with the bishop on e2. And in this position they play bishop g3 and not touch anything. They don't touch anything on the a file. but white will simply play improving moves like rook e1, rook c1. Maybe b3 can be an idea for white, just to prepare for, in case of b4, have knight a4 and knight b2. But stand still, don't go crazy on the queen side with white. Now let's see the game, because this all looks very similar. Yeah, knight b6 after bishop g3, that's right. Yeah, that's how it will probably go. So let's see a4 here. Yeah, we already know that here we go b4. And the knight is now going to b1. Not a very pleasant square for this knight, but there isn't another one. And I think that white was thinking here that he might get the knight to c4, and then if the other knight gets to d2, it will be fine.
Yeah, okay. Yeah.
But what do we do here? How are we going to start this? So they want to play knight c4 right away. Yeah. I think. Yeah, I guess so, because then d6 will be hanging. Or queen c2 first, just make sure that e4 is defended.
I kind of want to play g5 at some point, at least, to get the to be able to move the knight on f6. So if I play d5 and bishop g3, then and then maybe rook e8, threatening the e-pawn.
Right away?
I think I would maybe right away, or maybe I would play d5 first.
Okay. You can play it right away. There's nothing wrong with rook e8 here. It's, I think, very natural. Big part of the Benoni is fighting for the c4 square. Yes. But in this game, white's not making it to c4. He does want to do that, but we won't let him. So here you want to play g5 first, bishop g3. You can do that, of course, rook e8. That's one way to do things. But you can also go for rook e8 immediately. There are actually many good moves here. Yes, rook e8. Knight e5. Hold on, let's see if knight e5 works. Do I have f4 in that position?
That's what I would be afraid of.
Yeah,
I'm nervous about.
Maybe knight e5 is too soon. f4 looks good, and then you have to go back to d7. But if you get the move g5 in between, you might be able to play knight e5. But rook e8 seems very natural, no?
Yeah. I also kind of like Belmiro is suggesting to put the queen on c7, just to get out of the pin, I guess, and protect d6.
Yes, that's also an idea. And there's also the idea of putting the queen on e7 to keep an eye on e4. But of course, if you put the queen on e7, then you'll still be on this pin, which might be annoying. So queen c7 to me makes more sense, but queen e7 is a good move. It doesn't mean that it's a bad move. Bless you.
Thank you.
Are you alright, Sophie?
Yeah, I am right.
Just a summer flu?
Allergies.
Oh, allergy, okay.
Allergies, yeah.
So, yes, he went for rook e8 and queen c7. That was your plan, guys. F4.
Rook e8 and queen c7, yeah.
And queen c7 here, yeah. We are getting out of the pin, and we are threatening to take e4. Good. So now he goes bishop f3. All right, so time to...
c4.
c4
Maybe.
is what you'd play here? Wow, Sophie, nice.
I mean, we have the option now to play it, right?
Yes, nice, very nice. So now you see c4 without even having to think about it, yes? It's just like the idea that you have there all the time. Very nice. That's what he played here, c4. Makes sense to push these pawns. Playing as white is comfortable here. Okay, maybe it looks like it because you have a f4 and e4 on the board, but this position is a decisive advantage for black already, because we have gotten c4 in, and white's not getting to the square c4. We are first to strike with black. And there are actually more interesting plans here besides c4, which looks very good. A move like rook b8 is also very strong. What is the point of this move? For example, if queen c2, That looks normal. What do you think black wants to play next? Yeah, the knight on b1 looks ugly. I would agree on that.
Something about the b3, but I'm still trying to find out how it works. Let's see if we have b3.
Yeah, you kind of have want
also
knight b6. You kind of want to have b3 at some point. You don't necessarily need to play it right away. But then your idea, Sophie, you had some ideas with a5 in the initial
yeah,
position.
I just see somebody just
yes, Ariane. Yes, I see it now.
Suggested.
So a5 and bishop a6 is very strong.
Yeah.
You could also play this way. And of course you could also play for c4 the way you wanted to. If rook e1 in this position instead of queen c2, you're still going for c4.
Somebody is saying e5 is hanging, but there isn't anything on e5.
Maybe e4? E4 is not hanging. There's a knight
after b3.
On queen
yeah,
c2.
e4. Okay,
yeah.
so Fab says that e4 is hanging after playing b3.
In some lines, yes.
Yeah.
e4 is hanging after playing b3, and there are lines where you actually use that. That's why the rook is useful on b8.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if right away the knight will be hanging on b3, but there's some queen e8 I need to... Like if I play b3 right away, and I take with my knight, I'm not sure it works, no? Because e4 is still defended, and I don't think any sacrifices work for now. That's why queen c2.
Even though it looks a little bit funny to take on e4 and then take on b2 with the rook in the end, but it's probably
that's the position where I was thinking that I have some queen e8 in case you want to sacrifice on e4. You need to watch out. It's kind of early, yes, b3, but it's there. It's an idea that you have, and one needs to be careful. So yeah, I just wanted to show you this idea because last week I told Sophie that the c pawn is a goner, and she was not familiar with this with this expression. So now I want to show you, Sophie, how this pawn can be a goner. So here if c4 and they go queen c2, for example, you are not worried about this pawn. And here knight c5 is what we want to play. And we just tell them, okay, you go ahead and take that pawn, but I have such strong pieces.
Yeah.
And now I'm going to ask you guys, what happens after knight c4?
I think b3 is looking good now. Because
That's right.
it's not easy for white to protect the...
No, impossible. Easy, no, impossible.
Okay.
So they don't have a way to defend e4, and the rook on b8 will be defending our pawn on b3 in case of queen d1. We have that pawn under control. So what happens if queen takes c4 then? That's the other move white can play here. What are we going for? Maybe
now we could go for the a5, bishop a6 idea.
Very nice, Sophie. You are getting a good understanding of the Benoni. And if e5, this doesn't work because of bishop a6. Yes, a5 and bishop a6, Ariano was suggesting as well. Okay, what do we do now? What do we do about the e5 move that he just played? He's hoping that our knight on c5 will be hanging after all the trades.
I'm looking at b3 again. But maybe he can take with the knight, because our knight is also hanging in f6. So I'll just keep looking a little bit. Can I maybe take?
That's the first thing you have to calculate. You shouldn't just trust your opponents. They will make bad moves as well. So does it really work?
I'm just gonna see if I can make some of these arrows that you're so good at.
Yes, please. It's not so easy. It looks so easy when you see them on the stream because you see all the arrows.
It's not easy to make arrows at all.
Right? Because
maybe I could play. Maybe I can play my bishop here first.
Okay,
or
but
as the second move.
Hold on. What was the order, Sophie, when you were looking at the candidate moves?
I'm just.
Okay, let's remember that.
So
okay. First we are looking at
take
all the captures. That's right. We are looking at all the captures first, and then
take. Okay, but so far nothing is hanging. I'm still protecting the knight on c.
But there's a white rook. There's a white rook on e5 that you'll need to take probably.
Yeah, but I take that with the rook.
No. It's d takes e5, f takes e5, rook takes e5.
Rook. Yeah. Okay,
rook e5.
Rook takes e5, and then so then let's say that I take with the queen.
Okay.
And he takes here.
On c5.
Then,
does that work?
Then I need to have some good ideas. Maybe I can take down here.
Or?
Threatening the rook. And if
what
the rook moves, I can take the knight.
The knight's defended.
Yeah, by this knight also, that's true. But so he can just move. But can he really move the rook?
Yeah, that's the problem. The rook's not going anywhere.
No.
And there's something else besides queen takes b2?
Maybe the c8 is still protected by the bishop, so maybe I can put my rook here.
Yeah.
And get that to the back.
You have two moves in that position. One's queen b2. If you look for all the captures, queen b2 is the first one you'll spot, and then rook c8 is the second one. So please check the lines until the end. Don't just trust your opponents. They will try to trick you. Queen takes c5, queen c5, and here the move Sophie was suggesting, queen b2 is winning because the rook has no squares. And then rook c8, the other move Sophie suggested, is also winning because we have rook c8, c1 in the end.
Yeah.
And that's going to be mate.
This did not happen in the game, no?
This did not happen in the game, no, because
White
black
was playing so well.
Actually, because black went for c4.
Thomas is asking if Benoni is a good opening for beginners.
If Benoni is a good opening for beginners, like how beginners? Because if you are really just starting out, I'm not sure that you need to learn a lot of theory, and you should go for system-like types of openings.
Yeah, I have an idea that Benoni is starting to get good at like club level, and then maybe until 20 something, like you can. I mean, some grandmasters play it still, yeah?
Yes, they do, yes, of course.
Yeah.
But let's see how the game continued. After c4, white played e5. So he's also getting aggressive. Now, if queen c2...
Oh, let me just see the position. After he...
Okay, I'll just refresh.
After c4?
Can you see the board now, Sophie? e5?
Yeah, he played e5 straight away.
Yes. I was just going to show you guys that queen c2 is similar to what we were looking at before, because knight c5, very, very similar to our lines previously. a5 is coming with the idea of bishop a6. And even if, for example, rook c1, now we are not getting the pawn back, but this is a very good position for black. Rook c8, for example, is a move.
Yeah.
And then there is this move, queen d7, just getting out of the pin. And we might want to play knight d3 next.
Yeah.
So this is all very interesting fear for black. Pawn down, but a lot of compensation for that.
Very active pieces.
Yeah, that's what we are playing for here.
Yeah. And I just saw somebody asked in the chat, my rating is about 1900.
Okay, yes.
Yeah.
And then you can play the Benoni, as Sophie is.
I think so.
She's just starting to
And I need
to
some
learn.
more positional understanding. So I think because of that, Benoni is also it's quite a positional opening.
Yeah, depends on how the play goes. It has
Yeah,
also
yeah, it can
tactics,
also
but
be.
then
Yeah, you showed us it can be very tactical.
yes, I've heard is that Hikaru doesn't like the Benoni, but
Who doesn't like the Benoni? Hikaru?
yeah, but there are so many other players who played. Wojtasek is one of them. Actually, the previous game that we saw with Knight H6 was a game by Wojtasek, and he's a 2700. So I don't know what to tell you guys. I think not all the 2700 agree on that.
Yeah.
So okay, he goes e5 here.
Yeah, and exactly. Mikhail Tal loved it, and that's enough.
That's true. Yeah. Tal, well, Schuba, Topalov.
Yeah.
Also played that, so they were not.
Okay. E5. Can we just take it?
Fischer played it, yes.
Fischer, yeah.
And there are so many top players who played from time to time. Yeah, I don't. Yeah. But let's go back to our game. What happens after e5?
Yeah. I mean, I guess we should take it, but.
What is black's? What's white's idea? Yes, if we take it.
I don't know. I just think I can take the pawn, and it's a bad move. But he probably has some idea with playing it. There is something he probably wants to open up for his rook on f1, right, and maybe put some pressure on the knight or the f7 pawn.
The typical pattern you have to remember, Sophie, after e5 is that whenever the pawn leaves d6, you kind of automatically have to think about the move d6. This is happening almost every time.
Yeah.
So let's see if that works here, d6.
Dun-dun.
What do we think about e takes d5, d6?
It looks pretty because I can give a check to get my queen to safety, or I can maybe just take the pawn, but of course the rook is hanging and we don't like that. But if I give any check, white's bishop will go to f2, and then I think I'm in trouble.
And then the rook on a8 will still be hanging, right?
Yeah, so I have too many hanging pieces.
Queen b8. Okay, how is this position? We probably have enough, well, a lot of compensation for the exchange, but Sahiz was not in the mood of sacrificing the exchanges yet. So here, instead of taking on e5, do we have any other options?
Yes.
What do we have?
We can take on d5 and then play queen c5 and capture the bishop if the bishop takes back on d5.
Okay, I like that suggestion, because here I'm going to flip the board and ask you what is white going to play after knight d5.
Is the board flipped?
Yes, it hasn't flipped for you.
My board is not flipped yet.
Something.
But I can flip it myself.
Something fishy there. Don't know.
I'll just flip my board.
So what can white play? Some calculation.
Okay, so white doesn't have to take on d5. That's not forced.
Yeah, so that's the point.
Then what is the point? We could maybe... We can take on d6.
Yes, the chat is
c6 and then taking on c4.
Or taking on c4 right away, yeah?
Yeah, Also that's also
probably more forcing, because then you might have some checks that we need to calculate. But knight takes c4 opens the queen, and white wants to take on d5 once again. So right here in this position, knight takes d5 doesn't work. Yeah, there's a problem with knight d5. I'm going to flip the board back. Sophie, I think you have to do that yourself.
Yeah, I will flip it.
So I'm just going to show you guys what he played here. He went for c3. Lots of tactics happening here.
Yeah.
And many ideas. The knight on d2 is hanging, but there's also this idea of getting c2. And the knight on b1 will be hanging in some lines.
But I just don't see how
that works. Let's see.
Yeah, maybe, because if white captures an f6, we play c2.
We can play c2, but even more precise here is to get our bishop out of the threat. Take on f6. We are threatening the bishop. And the funny thing about this position is that we will still get c2. Bishop takes. And here is where we have to go c2 in between move. And look at that knight on b1. That's trapped.
Yeah. It's a horrible piece.
Horrible piece.
But we're not really threatening to take it. Yeah.
We are threatening to give a check and take it. So we are safe there. And if the king moves away, we will have time to defend our queen.
Ultimately, we are actually threatening to take it because we get a queen.
Oh, we get a queen, yes. That's a good point as well. So, okay. Let's see what happened after c3. He didn't take on f6. He took on c3 first. Pawn. Now he... Oops. This is not what I was going to show. Bishop takes c3. Now, now it's on the right line. Bishop b takes c3. And here, okay, if they take on f6, this will have similar ideas. We are going to get our material back. Here we can take with the knight.
Yeah.
Again, threats against d2, threats again with c2. And now if queen c1, what do we play? How do we get our piece back?
We play... I need to be careful about... because now the bishop can go to f2.
Okay. So you are looking at queen check, bishop...
Yeah, I'm
f2?
looking at a queen b6, a queen c5. So that the queen will be on a protected square. But then bishop f2, and then it's not really...
And then what do you play after bishop f2?
I might... maybe I can still take on... I can take on d2 anyway, because I'm threatening white's queen, so white would have to take the...
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
That's all correct.
So take...
And take here. On d2, because we are attacking the queen. Okay, and then we can move our queen, maybe queen d8, to be headed to the king side. But
is this better for black?
This is kind of equal, I think.
Okay.
Yeah. But okay, queen c1 here was the only move. What happens if queen c2? Because after queen c2, we don't have...
Yeah, then we don't threaten the queen when we take back.
Yeah.
Can I'm just gonna cheat and look in the chat.
No suggestions, I'm afraid.
We can still take on d2, somebody says, but then I can't take on d2 now. Then the queen is hanging. So then I should give a check before, but then the problem is bishop f2.
Yep. Bishop f5, I take on c3. Cyrus.
Bishop f5. Ah, bishop f5 is an idea, but then you're taking on c3 and it's... oh, but then... No, it's not working. Queen.
You're a piece down.
Ah, maybe that's smart.
Which one?
No, I'm not sure if it's working. As Crunks suggests queen b6 check, bishop f2, and then queen b2. But I think
that's these ideas can be played, but here, if when you play queen b2, I can take on c3 again.
Yeah, or even maybe he could take on b2 and move the rook.
And rook a2 or rook a3, right? But then there's that pawn on b2. I'd rather take it, queen c3. Queen b2, just take that pawn.
Knight d7 looks a bit too slow, I think. And I don't really see... we're protecting the pawn, of course. But...
then the knight moves, right?
Yeah, it doesn't look too...
Okay, I'm going to give you a hint.
More effective.
It is a knight move, but not knight d7.
It is. Okay, somebody just suggested... Arjun just suggested knight d5.
So you're sacrificing another piece? I'm going to take it now. You want queen c5.
But it's not a sacrifice, because we can then give a queen check and take on d5.
But you already are a piece down.
Yeah, I know.
Cannot forget about that.
Yeah. If we weren't a piece down,
Josh.
we would definitely take on d5. So something...
Josh has it. Knight g5.
Okay. Knight g4.
G4, sorry. Knight g4, because we want knight e3.
Ah, okay. There's
and then everything. Yes. Knight g4, that's the problem with queen d2.
Now we're defending c3.
Yep. Now we're defending c3. And if they take, okay, we're going to take back, and your ideas, guys, with the bishop f5 would work. Bishop f5 right away, they take our pawn on c3. So there were a lot of suggestions with bishop f5 here, but they just take our pawn, queen c3. But instead, if we start with knight g4, you'll have similar ideas. Bishop takes, now bishop takes, and bishop f5 will work. Knight f3, bishop f5. Sophie, can you see the board, or is it just frozen?
Yeah, I think I can see.
Bishop
oh wait,
f5.
no, I'm sorry, I can't see the board.
So I'm just going to refresh the...
Yeah, now I can see it, yeah.
And bishop f5 now, followed by c2, and we are fine, right? Okay, let's go back to the game. And
complicated.
See... Very complicated, yes. So let's see what happens if... Oh, queen c2 first, pinning the pawn. Sophie is Dutch.
No, I'm... I'm Danish.
Danish, Jesus, with a D. I meant Danish, Sophie, I'm sorry.
It's okay. I didn't see it in the chat, so I just thought it was such a weird thing to say. All of a sudden. Yeah. What was, did you have a question?
Yes, queen c2, what happens after queen c2? You have to move now, Sophie.
Yeah, I have two moves. Is that
no?
What
I mean you'll have to move now. Move from Denmark. You have to go to.
Yeah, but actually I am going to Norway in a few weeks. So.
But that's still not Dutch.
No, that's still not Dutch. Still not Dutch.
Okay, let's go. So what do we play here? You guys had ideas here. Johan, you're also Dutch in that case.
And also, Danish game with different face.
D takes c5.
Queen, D takes
Okay.
C5.
And on d6, what do you guys play?
But no. Is it working? We can take on D6, but then if he takes the rook, we can take on D2, but then aren't we down an exchange? We're down an exchange.
Exchange, yeah.
Was this something about the... No, I'm not, I can't, I don't see how I get out of this.
You guys had so many ideas and at some point they all work. So many people were suggesting here the idea of, yes, exactly, Ciprian. Queen b6 and then queen b2, this works very well here.
It does?
Yeah.
Okay. Because what happens if he just takes on c3 with the queen?
Yeah, they can take on c3 with the queen and, well, now we'll just have to, hold on, was it? Yeah. We'll just have to give up the exchange actually.
Okay, but we
also have, what was it here? I think rook b8 we also had here, right? That's the idea.
I'm not sure. What position do you have on your board?
Okay, I'm just going to play rook.
Okay,
no,
yeah,
here I'm thinking about, I hadn't played anything. I'm just thinking that rook b8 we can play here. We're not a piece down anymore. So
yeah, that's true.
This is fine for us.
Okay.
Okay. So he goes queen c1. Let's see this. No, queen c1. Yeah. Now it works.
Now we have the idea about playing
what?
playing queen b6, for example. Queen b6 and then rook bishop f2. And then we can take on d2 and threaten the queen.
We do have that idea. Yep, that works. But there is an even better move. Again, all the ideas that you guys were seeing before, they change with every move. And something that didn't work before now works very well. So you were seeing this move, knight d5.
Yeah.
And guess what? Now it works.
Josh just saw it.
Yeah, that's correct. Knight d5. There's a nice trick here. Does knight takes c3 work?
No.
Why not? Obviously not, but why not?
Obviously not. Because we can just... We can take it with the knight.
And if I take your rook,
then I put my knight on e2 and win the queen.
Yeah, that's right. So they don't have knight c3 here. This is the line we were seeing. Bishop a8 doesn't work because knight e2 is winning the queen. Good.
Yeah.
So then in the game, that was easy, yeah. Bishop d5 was played, and now we have queen c5. King moves away. We take this bishop. Knight c3. Where would you guys put the queen?
Bishop. Oh, I'm sorry.
Queen?
Yeah, no, I was looking at bishop b7, but we should probably take the queen.
Probably,
first.
yeah.
Probably. But then...
But then what? Where do we put the queen?
Then maybe put it on c6 so that we have ideas about playing bishop b7. And we're still protecting b6.
Well, the best is e6. To still protect d6, and you do have idea of bishop b7, but the queen is going somewhere on the king side. Not going to tell you where, you're going to have to find that later. So now pawn takes d6 was played, and this seems to be the final mistake from white. Bishop b7.
Yeah.
We are not very interested in taking that pawn.
No.
He goes rook b1. We stay on this diagonal.
Yeah.
Knight f3. Okay, and now he takes this pawn on d6. And he goes back on e6. Queen e6, knight d4. So, what do we do here?
We can almost take on g2. Maybe we can take on g2. Or maybe just queen g4? Queen g4.
So you are giving me that bishop on c6, right?
Yeah, but then I'm getting the bishop on h4, but maybe...
And do you want that? Isn't that bishop on c6 like something really strong in this position that you wanted to... Okay, Bob is suggesting queen h3, but again I'm taking your bishop on c3.
But it's a nice idea, but then maybe I should take on g2, and then king takes, and queen g4, bishop g3...
Okay, Josh,
No,
you are right.
Josh is saying something. Okay, I'm just gonna go see what Josh is suggesting.
So if you guys are worried about losing the bishop on c6, why don't we just take it, no? Bishop takes d4.
Yeah.
It was that easy. I'm sorry, this is too easy. Just like the previous one. Bishop takes, rook takes, and then queen h3.
That is like the good bishop, so we don't wanna... yeah.
But here the tactics are all in our favor. Okay, so he tries to survive. No, okay. He still played knight d5, and he was hoping for this knight c7.
Yeah.
Well, I have to show you here that queen takes c6 doesn't work, right? Rook e1, has everybody seen that? So knight c7. What do we do now? How did black finish the game? Sophie is a good player, yes.
Can we play queen f2?
Can we play queen f2? Okay, and how is that if I take your bishop and then take one of the rooks? Oh, you want to make me on e1. I just showed you that, and then I'm falling into the same trap.
I think queen f2, I'm pointing at g2.
G2.
And also the rook on d4.
Is hanging. That might work. Queen f2 might work, right? I don't have rook d2 because Sophie wants to take on g2 with the bishop.
But maybe I can...
How's queen g1? Queen g1 looks very awkward, but... So maybe you can take on g2. How's that?
Taking on g2, king takes, rook e2... That looks pretty good.
Yes.
King f3, queen f2. Yeah, that's going to be checkmate, I think.
Right. So bishop g2, but queen f2, the move that Sophie suggested, is also fine. Queen f2 because on queen g1. Sophie, can you see the board? I'm just going to refresh.
Yeah, after queen g1?
Yeah. Do you see it now?
Yeah. But and now I can see when g2. Yes.
You can also play that.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's right. Bishop takes g2 and then you take the rook. So this is also winning, but bishop g2 is made in few more moves. King takes and rook e2, yeah. And then we make them on h2. Suppose they go here. And this is a very nice mate. Queen h2, it's over. It isn't? King g1. Yes, king g1 is what he played. So then what? The rook on a8 is hanging, yes, but there's no time for white to take it. So what do we play after king g1?
I mean, if we remove the bishop, we have the threat of putting the... Or maybe just queen g4 white away? Queen g4?
Queen g4 is one, you are right. And then you want to play bishop h3, right?
Yeah, yeah.
And rook e2 is another one. Similar ideas of queen f2.
Yeah, rook e2.
Both of them work. Well, actually, he
Knight
resigned after
e5, somebody. Yeah, knight e5 is also
95. Wow, very nice. I hadn't thought
yeah.
about that. It definitely is flashy. Does it work? We'll have to see. Knight of 3.
I like flashy moves.
Yes, they're pretty, but we have to see if they're also good.
Yeah.
So 95. What's happening? I take on e8 and you want knight f3, king g2, queen h2. Ah, that looks like mate, no? It's probably
I don't
95
think
is working. It does.
Do you have it on the board?
No, I will put it on
No,
the
we're
board.
just visualizing.
95. But because I'm thinking knight e8, I can even take on e8 and the threats are still there. So my opponent is not escaping with the king. No? Do you see the board,
Yeah.
Sophie?
Yeah, I see the board.
Yeah. Okay, 95. Now it's up to you. Queen g4, move, Sophie's move. And then rook e2, the move that I had thought about, is also winning. So, whichever you guys prefer. The game finished after bishop g2. So, yeah, very nice game of Lev Sahis, who's also one of the specialists in this line. So, if you guys have any questions now, we are open for... There was someone asking here about how long it takes to reach... What was your question? Could you repeat that, please? Takes to reach... Okay, I see it. 2,000 feet from 1,400. Well, I would say that it depends on you, definitely. The time is only up to you, how much you are ready to invest in this. It's definitely easier for someone who's helping you, because as you
I
can
almost got to 2,000 on my Blitz rating yesterday. I wanted to reach it. I got to 1992.
Wow.
And I wanted to get above 2,000 so I could tell you, but then I lost a few games. So
but I'm very proud anyway. You were like, what, 1750 or something, 1800? What was your rating on?
I think my standard rating is 1800 something.
No, but on lichess, how was it?
On lichess,
Was it higher?
I don't really use lichess so much. So my my
okay.
chess.
Oh, chess.com is what you're using. And how was your rating there?
I almost got to 2,000 yesterday, so now it's 1960 or something.
Oh, you'll be there in a moment. We should just see some more games in the Benoni, and that's...
Yeah, I think so. I'm really starting to like playing the Benoni in Blitz also.
So you played Sinan, they played bishop b5. The line that we were seeing, that's not... that's not very good for black. Everything's going bad there. But now you know to play a6.
Yeah.
So, okay, what else? Oh, I was saying that it depends definitely on you, how long it takes to reach higher elo. Depends on the time you invest, on how much you work and train. But it's also important if you have some help, and I think it's easier, at least in my... I found it easier with the help of a coach because, you see the games, but you're not so objective as someone looking from the outside is, and maybe sometimes you don't even understand the mistakes you are making, and if there's someone there to point them out for you and to create a training plan that's suitable for you. For example, with Sophie, we've been working on positional play in the beginning, and now she's
improving on my black openings, because my openings with black have been a little shaky, so now I'm starting to get a better idea of the openings that I'm playing. And I think also you can train a lot of the tactics yourself, but with the positional play, that's
where the tricky part is.
To have a coach, because it's so much harder to just understand all the positional ideas than just like a simple tactic. That's something we can just go to like a tactic trainer, but the positional play is really
something mysterious.
It's hard.
The tactics are usually pointed out immediately by the computer, for example. But then the positional part, the computer can give you moves, but they won't tell you ideas. So that's something you need to find yourself, which is not so difficult. I think,
in order for the tactics to even be there in your games, you need to play positionally good.
Well, yes. And there's no tactics without positional play, and the other way around. So they will always have... In the Benoni, we've seen this a lot. We start like positional ideas, improving our pieces, and then bam,
Yeah.
it all
Raluca,
goes
I actually
tactical.
don't know this because we've been focusing on the black openings. Do you play e4 or d4 with
I'm a
white?
d4 player myself, yes.
I'm an e4 player.
Yeah, so you'll see a bit of everything here. Since we are looking at Sophie's games, then e4 is what you'll see. And of course, reading books of the strong players will help you. Look through their analysis. Yeah, that will help you with the chess understanding in general. Just studying the classics, I think, is something everybody is telling you to do. Even Magnus. Doesn't he say that all the time? You guys go see the classics. Okay, any other questions? If there are no more questions, I think we can finish our lesson for today. Thank you everybody for joining us, and we hope to see you next week.
Yep.
Okay, thank you. Bye.
Bye.